Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and welcome back to a brand new video, everyone. So in today's video, I am going to be ripping off of Kaiser Noah once again, and I'm going to be making a video basically talking about how Wisteria's potential was just completely squandered. It was just outright wasted by KI when the world was made. So to answer the obvious question of, has someone actually made this video before? Well, the answer is yes. But I really did want to talk about it because if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you would know that I am quite fond of the world of Wisteria. I am probably more, I probably have better memories of this world than most and probably like it more overall than most. So yeah, I did want to talk about this issue because it's just so obvious. Why can't I get into Tanglewood Way? What's going on? Alright, so I just went ahead and switched to my fire because I just realized my Death Wizard actually hasn't done any quests inside of Wisteria, so I can't actually access all of the areas. But anyways, we're here on my fire right now, and back to what I was saying. Pretty much Wisteria itself has a lot of wasted potential, and I'm pretty sure you can kind of tell after you've been through the whole of Wisteria, right, one time through on one of your wizards, that you can tell it's not really a world of substance. And basically what I mean by that is that there's just really not much here in this world. There's just not a whole lot going on in Wisteria. There's not a whole lot that goes on in Wisteria when you actually do make it through all of those quests. You're pretty much here just to basically participate in a magic tournament against the schools of Pigswick Academy, and then along the way some trouble happens and you pretty much uncover a plot that consists of a lot of the plants of Wisteria, kind of scheming to retake Wisteria, kind of reclaim it back into the wild. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that. But basically you just don't do a whole lot in Wisteria. I'm pretty sure Kaiser Noah mentioned in his video that Wisteria has a total of around 38 quests, and I believe him personally, or at least, if it's not that number, it's definitely really close to that number, because there are just not that many quests inside of this world. You're not here for very long, and this is definitely the shortest world in the game, pretty much rivaled only by Wizard City, but even then I'm pretty sure that Wisteria is actually quite a bit smaller as well. So honestly, just as of right now, I mean, the world is in a pretty bad state as it is. And it kind of sucks going through the world of Wisteria, because as I quest throughout this world, I kind of just think to myself, like, man, what could this world have been, right? Like, there's just so much here that just was not capitalized or explored upon. And I was just like, man, like they could have just done that, but yet they chose not to, right? And that really confuses me. I think Wisteria is a perfect example of, different times when King's Isle kind of under-delivers or kind of undermines something when it really should not be undermined at all whatsoever. And in lies pretty much with that the biggest mistake that they did make with Wisteria. And that was just doing too little, man. Doing too little with the plot line and the characters, etc., etc. All of it could have been stretched out much later than 38 quests. And some of you might be saying, like, maybe a shorter duration of time that you spend within the world is a good thing, right? Players are always complaining about long, redundant worlds that just are not very much fun to play through. And while I kind of, agree with you somewhat, Wisteria, for me, I mean, it's at the end of the day, right, it's a side world, so it's kind of just there to play, if you want to play it, then it is there for you. So it kind of just begs the question, at least in my head, right, why would you make it of so little substance? Why would you just not really put that much effort into it, right? Why didn't you take the opportunity to make your world better? Why didn't you take the opportunity to kind of fluff your world out with a few more interesting plot lines? Maybe make it around 70 to 90 quests, which is a pretty modest length where you could still kind of convey a pretty cool story. It's why didn't you decide to do that over what you did and just make this super duper small world where there's really no point to going here at all, right? Just for the average player that doesn't even tie in with the main storyline. But it's you don't even make it that good. You don't even make the plot line that good. It just doesn't really make sense to me, right? If they want people to play it, if they want people to play their game, I mean, just why is this here? Why is it here? I feel like so many wizards ask that same question, right? And I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, you earn a little bit more XP for coming here, you get the A+ student badge, but overall, nothing is really affected as a result of going to Wisteria. There's no real point in doing it, and even when you do complete the world, you don't really feel like a huge sense of accomplishment because you only went through like a few quests and defeated a few really easy enemies, and it's like, okay, well, what did I just spend like that whole hour of my life for? A parody of Wizard City has potential to honestly be one of the greatest worlds in this game, just because of how many like absurd and fun things you could do with that. So I know Noah briefly touched on this in his video, but Wizard101, or sorry, not Wizard101, but basically the world of Wysteria and Wizard City's relationship and the kind of plot line that follows from that seems to be heavily based on the 4th book of the Harry Potter series titled The Goblet of Fire. So in that, pretty much, you know, Hogwarts is at odds with another magic school and actually a few more magic schools, and basically the Triwizard tournament ensues. So essentially much the same as in Wizard101, it is a tournament for, of course, people with magical abilities to compete and see who is the best of the best. Now that plotline was done extremely well, you know, in that series, and I feel like Wysteria really had the potential to be something amazing, just because they're just such similar plotlines that you could do something really similar, you know, with like all the characters and the whole plot and everything, and just make it really good and make it have like substance and have there actually be like a real menacing villainous presence throughout the world. But it just wasn't that. It was like an extremely watered down plot line of everything where just not really much happened at all. And I can't stress that enough. This world, I mean, it's fucking barren, dude. There's nothing here. Having a plot point where we are actually framed as the villain in the story, right? The person who actually had taken the Spiral Cup, the main prize of the tournament. I mean, that's like a really cool thing. And I think you can go into depth on that. And there's just a lot of really cool stuff to be explored there. And a lot of content, right, that you could kind of get out of that, but it just wasn't explored, man. None of it was, you know, we kind of just resolved the problem like fairly easily, then we win the tournament and just go on with our lives. And I feel like that extremely cheapens the whole experience of the world, because a world, at least in Wizard101, right, is a fucking climb, man. You know, like that shit takes time and effort to do, and you should feel proud, right, of what you did and what you had to go through to actually get to the end point. Wysteria, you do nothing. You do a few battles, and that's it. Then you get your prize, then you move on with your life, and then it is never mentioned again. It's like, really, you're only gonna give me a mere taste of this entire world? You're only gonna give me a dollop of Wysteria, you know, when you could have given me so much more, man. Like, it's so stupid. Also, another thing, right, that I think is just absolutely wild that they did not touch on or capitalize on or anything like that is the schools of magic in Wysteria. Now, once again, I do know that Noah also had this in his video, how he also touched on the Wysterian schools of magic and how they just could have been explored upon, right? But it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So yes, there are 7 schools in Pigswick Academy. It is a parody of Wizard City, so as such, there are parody schools of magic. Schools of magic, they're like, I think that one's Ember over there, and then that one's Chaos Magic. I'll just like run by each of them. I think that one's Tempest Magic, as signified, yeah, by like the purple flag right there. But there are a lot of different schools of magic in Wysteria, and that's a really cool thing that like other schools, like the existence of other schools is just known, you know, and we can actually like access them. Except we really can't, right? Let's just, you know, go into the School of Frost here for an example. We cannot actually access any of this magic. I mean, we can walk into like each classroom and see what's up. But as for actually learning, you know, like Frost magic, for example, well, we can. We just go up to the NPC teacher. He's got nothing for us, you know? Literally, the only time that you actually go to each one of these schools is one quest. There is one quest where you go and you visit all the schools similar to your enrollment in Ravenwood. But you don't actually learn any spells. The teachers don't even tell you very much about the magic, and the schools are pretty much just left here to be stagnant until your departure from the world. And like many other aspects of this world, it just feels like extremely dry and unfinished, which sucks because that is 7 whole new schools of magic that you're talking about. Like, that's a really big deal. And would it have killed you to just maybe add in like a few spells right into the game, maybe one for each like school that visits Wisteria? It's just like you could have had like a nice little touch of that, and then it actually would have been worth it to at least go into the world and kind of get something exclusive out of it. But no, you just don't do that, and then it's left to be just a regular ass world where nothing really occurs, nothing really happens. And just before the end of the video right here, I would like to add in that I think Wisteria's like theme and aesthetic is super duper cool. I think the whole world looks really nice. Definitely one of the most visually pleasing worlds in this game, and especially because, I mean, it was made in the first arc too, right? It's like they can make stuff that actually just looks this good, right? During the time of the first arc. I feel like that's just really impressive, and you know what, I just like to commend King's Isle for that. However, it's all just a shell, because there's no substance or plot underneath. So I think a brilliant story just would have really worked perfectly with this extremely good looking world, and I would just like to mention that because it is definitely one of the main reasons why I love Wysteria so much, and it just pisses me off that they could have done more with it. But anyways, that is pretty much going to be it for the video, everyone. I really hope you all did enjoy. If you did, you could always leave a like on the video or subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I would appreciate that greatly. But anyways, let me know all of your opinions pertaining to Wysteria in the comments down below. Should they have done more with it? Is it in a very perfect spot as it is right now? I don't know, man. I'd like to hear all of your thoughts though, as always. So anyways, I will see all of you in the next video or stream, whenever that may be. So take care and peace out, everyone.